The UK is literally going downhill. The only people that want to stay in the UK are immigrants. All the rich people are selling their mansions to go to Dubai. The economy is literally going down. The UK is literally a third world country.
Hello my viewers and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, then don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and feel free to be part of this conversation in the comment section down below. I welcome you to a disturbing reality check. Now in this video, we expose the shocking truth behind the growing sentiment of anti-immigrant sentiment in the UK, a sentiment that's not only misguided but also rooted in racism and xenophobia. Now we hear from an ex-convict who blames migrants for his own unemployment, despite his criminal record being the obvious obstacle, and we will see how others echo this harmful narrative, ignoring the facts and perpetuating a dangerous myth. Now in this video, my fellow brothers and sisters share their thoughts on this as a sister calls out the hypocrisy, pointing out that no illegal immigrant can legally work in the UK without the proper documentation. So who are they really accusing of stealing their jobs? So join me as we dissect this toxic mentality and explore the real reasons behind the scapegoating of immigrants. It's time to set the record straight and confront the ugly truth of racism in our society. Check out these videos. I will be right back, and when I get back, I share my 2 cents on this.
How important an issue is immigration to you?
Well, I can't get a job. They come to this country and they just get a job just like that.
So when you apply, what do they say to you?
Well, I've got a criminal record. Assault.
Assault?
Yeah.
How long ago?
Well, I've been out of prison now 3 years now.
And so you blame immigrants rather than your criminal.
Here you see a clip of Sky News interviewing this man in Swindon, and he's basically saying that he can't get a job because of immigration. But wait, hold on a minute. I've did my own digging, and guess what I found? Haha, hey, isn't that you, mate? Huh? Jason, old kid, ain't that you? So this man was 45 at the time, who repeatedly, I'm not even gonna say the word, a 7-year-old girl. What? This man was sentenced for that crime. But wait a minute, it gets worse. After his release from prison, this guy was back at it again. Underwear thief back behind bars while awaiting sentence for messaging a young boy who was under the age of 16, which breached his license, and he's on a register act. So he breached it and he was back in jail. What are you talking about, you madman? About you can't get a job because of immigration, bro. No, you can't get a job because of yourself, you weirdo. It's a weird world we live in. And if you go and read the article, Swindon Advisor, the man is not even getting charged like that. His sentence ain't even crazy. It's a minor sentence. Man's getting less than weed shotters. How does that make sense? He's getting less than hash shotters. How does that make sense? You ogre, bruv, you big ogre. And you're talking about you can't get a job because of immigration. Behave yourself. Behave yourself. Behave yourself. Crazy world living, you know.
This is not the right time to be on Hinge. This is not the right time to be on Badoo. This is not the right time to be on Facebook dating. This is not the right time to be on any dating app right now looking for whitey. This is not the right time. Honestly, this is not the right time. If you are on that app actively chatting, you better scrap it. You better scrap it, because anything that happens to you, you are to be blamed. You will be blamed fully. You see, that's your dream of marrying Oyibo. That fantasy of being with a whitey Oyibo. You see that dream? Just kill that dream. Kill it now. Pipe it down now. So pedal it. Anything you're going to do to take it off your mind right now, take it off your mind, because what is happening now, honestly, if you have that vision, that mission, that fantasy, that dream, that hope, that aspiration of being with Oyibo, scrap it now. Now. The earlier, the better.
You people saying, oh, it's not about immigrants. It's not about immigrants. It is, though. It is about immigrants. Because let me tell you that argument. That argument is the immigrants are coming here and they're stealing the jobs, yeah? Let me tell you something. In the United Kingdom, without this book right here, no place is going to hire you. At least without the right to work. no place is going to hire you. And no illegal immigrant holds this book right here. No illegal immigrant has the right to work in the United Kingdom. So who are you accusing of taking your job? To be a doctor, a lawyer, even to work at Tesco, you must prove you have the right to work within the United Kingdom. And to have the right to work within the United Kingdom, you are not an illegal immigrant. You are a legal immigrant. Do you understand what I'm saying? So what exactly is their argument here? What exactly is their argument? Some people at these protests don't even know what they're fighting for. You go there, if you went there and interviewed every single person, over 55% of them wouldn't even know why they're there. They would have just seen a group of people causing chaos and saying, oh, they must go home, and they supported that view, so they decided to get involved. Yeah? Half of them don't even know why they're there. So they've even forgotten the root of this issue. The root of this issue was about the girls who sadly passed away, the girls who were sadly murdered. It is very disgusting that they've taken the death of young girls and used it as a reason to commit acts of mass terrorism. They are taking illegal immigrants and legal immigrants and putting them into the same lane. They want everyone out. If you're not white English, they want you gone. It is about racism. Racism is the root, but as much as that, it is just about the fact that they just want white English people here. They are using the reason of, oh, we want illegal immigrants out to make them look like they are just in some way because we have a law in the United Kingdom against illegal immigrants. Illegal immigrants are not allowed here. Yeah? So they're making it look like they're just following the law when that is not the case. They want all immigrants out. Who is taking the jobs? Because it is the legal immigrants who are taking the jobs. Some of us are not even immigrants. Some of us were born in this country and you're still accusing us of taking the jobs. Without this book right here, there would be no job for us to take. I guarantee you that. Without a passport, you're not going to get very far. Your application will not even be processed in most places if you cannot prove you have the right to work.
Okay, people, una mama and una papa for there. Some British people have been protesting, rioting and creating chaos in their country, saying that they don't want Africans, they don't want Nigerians, they don't want Indians, they don't want Asians. They do not want immigrants in their country, that they should go. It's the audacity for me. This is coming from a people and a country that has looted, stolen and plundered half of the world in the name of colonization. Request for people to leave. People are not going anywhere, and take this to any place. You cannot do anything about it other than protest and create chaos. You see this abroad? People are not going anywhere. This is coming from a people, and it's not even that your policies that you did in the past, your evil policies of colonization that you did in the past, that can even be forgiven. It is that you continue to create this chaos up until today. Britain continues to fund wars, supply arms to a lot of conflict that is happening today. Currently in the Middle East, with 30,000 people murdered, you continue to fund it. And when you create chaos in this country, you tell them that they should not come. The evil that you've created in this country are going to come back to haunt you, whether you like it or not. They are going to come back to roast where you are. France, that you people are also protesting that you don't want immigrants, a lot of European country, but your government is out there, draw them out of Africa. You keep stealing resources, you keep forcing tyrants on African countries, on Middle Eastern countries, supporting and propping them up so that you can be stealing, you can be stealing the resources. You don't want them. Since Africans have met white people, I guarantee you, we have never achieved anything from white people. If they are giving, they are taking more than they are giving us. Go and quote me anywhere. And you're saying what? That you don't want immigrants in your country. And if you know your history, places like India and the so-called Commonwealth country, India alone sent over 1.4 million soldiers, human beings, to come and fight in the world where Africa sent hundreds of thousands. People died because of your country.
Have you noticed that when an English person moves to another country, they're considered an expat? British expats. But if somebody moves to England legally as a legal immigrant, they will always be considered an immigrant unless they come from a very rich Western country like America or Spain or France. They're not really considered immigrants. Specifically, Asian people, African people, Caribbean people, Middle Eastern people, even white Eastern Europeans, because I guess they are considered to be from poor Eastern European countries. So if they come here, they're considered immigrants. Even if they come here and work legally, they are still considered immigrants. But the second an English person jumps on that EasyJet flight to Spain, oh my God, they're an expat. Oh, to Dubai, they're an expat. They're an expat. Even if they move to a third world country, oh, you want to retire in Jamaica? Expat. Oh, you want to go and work in India for a year and travel? expat. And just so you know, legal immigrants have to have a source of income to move to the UK, so there's no difference. One thing about English people, every country you go, you're going to see a bunch of English people everywhere. Also, isn't it ironic how the people that complain about foreign people speaking their language when they're in public? Speak English, you're in England. They will go abroad and not learn a single phrase of the country they're visiting. In fact, they will move to another country, expect everybody to be able to speak English. Half of Brits travelling overseas don't learn a country's language before visiting. Why travellers need to stop expecting the world to speak English. Why do British people assume all foreigners can speak English? Do you know how hypocritical you have to be to complain about people visiting England? Maybe they're just here on holiday, speaking their language amongst their friends, when you literally do the same thing when you go abroad. You may learn how to say hola amigo, but that's about it. The double standards are insane.
Now, the flawed logic and blatant articism on display here is staggering. Starting with the ex-convict who has the audacity to blame immigrants for his own unemployment, despite knowing fully well that his criminal record is the real obstacle. It's a classic case of deflection and scapegoating. Instead of taking responsibility for his own actions and acknowledging the consequences of his criminal behavior, he chooses to point fingers at black people, perpetuating a harmful and false narrative. Now, this kind of thinking is not only misguided, but also toxic, as it fuels articism and xenophobia. The fact that he's willing to ignore the obvious reason for his unemployment, his criminal record, and instead blame immigrants reveals a deep-seated bias and lack of self-awareness. It's a shameful attempt to shift the blame and distract from his own shortcomings. And sadly, he's not alone in this thinking. The broader sentiment among some individuals, as seen in the video, is that immigrants are somehow stealing jobs from native-born citizens. Now, this argument is not only flawed, but also rooted in articism and a lack of understanding of the immigration process. As the brave sister in the video points out, illegal immigrants cannot legally work in the UK without proper documentation. So who exactly are they accusing of taking their jobs? Now, the answer is clear. They are scapegoating immigrants to avoid confronting their own failures and biases. Now, violent far riots have erupted in the northeast English city of Sunderland amid a string of anti-immigrant protests following the unaliving of 3 children at a dance class earlier this week. Now, Northumbria Police Chief Superintendent Helena Barron said officers on Friday faced serious and sustained levels of violence after several hundred people rampaged in Sunderland city centre, attacking police and setting fire to at least 1 car and a building next to a police office. Now, 8 people were arrested following hours of what Barron described as utterly deplorable disturbances. 3 officers required hospital treatment and 2 remained in hospital early on Saturday. Now, images shared on social media showed balaclava-clad youths throwing bricks as fireworks and flares were let off. The shocking scenes we have witnessed in Sunderland this evening are completely unacceptable, Barron said, adding that disorder, violence, and damage seen would not be tolerated. Now, a full investigation is now underway to identify anyone else responsible, she added. The disorder came after 2 nights of unrest in several English towns and cities in the wake of unaliving in Southport of 3 children. Now, online misinformation attributed the unalivings to a Muslim immigrant. The alleged perpetrator was later identified by a judge as a 17-year-old Axel Rudakubana, a Christian born in the United Kingdom to Rwandan parents. Now, police have said the case is not being treated as terror-related but have not revealed a motive. Anger over the unaliving fueled growing anti-immigration sentiment as far-right social media channels advertise enough is enough anti-immigrant rallies. Now, a Sunderland Central MP for the ruling Labour Party said a link could be drawn between the unrest in his constituency and the ashes of the English Defence League, which was found by Tommy Robinson, whose real name is Stephen Yaxley Lennon. Now, the group has disbanded, but its supporters remain active. And Atkinson said evidence suggested a Nazi officer, Pew Pew, was involved in the violence on Friday night. Atkinson said he was really sad for Sunderland after a group of artists descended on the city on Friday evening and attacked police officers and targeting a mosque. Now, asked how the disorder had happened, he told BBC Radio 4's program that protests had been suggested by people in a number of social media groups in the wake of the Southport unalivings. Now, the far right, for example, Stephen Yaxley Lennon, picked up on those and started promoting those and encouraging non-far-right individuals to join. He said, he added, "A night of idiots will not prevent us from building. They do not present Britain." Now, on Tuesday, protesters clashed with police outside a mosque in Southport and held beer cans, bottles and flares near the Prime Minister's office in London. The next day, officers arrested 111 people as a rally in Westminster turned violent late on Wednesday. Now, anti-articism protesters turned out in their thousands in towns and cities across the UK to counter far-right demonstrations that failed to materialize on Wednesday evening, offering some relief to a nation that's been reeling from the worst outbreak of rioting in more than a decade. Now, police had 6,000 specialist officers ready to guard areas around immigration-related facilities after online agitators posted messages urging supporters to converge on them. Now, the unrest was initially triggered last week by the fatal unalivings of 3 young girls and false rumors that the attacker was a Muslim asylum seeker before morphing into anti-immigration and articist disorder. Now, these recent anti-immigrant protests have left me wondering, what's driving this sentiment? Is it fear, misinformation, or something more sinister? While everyone has the right to express their opinions, I strongly believe that protesting and chasing immigrants is not only unfair, but also inhumane. Now, these protests often stem from misconceptions about immigrants stealing jobs or straining resources. However, studies have shown that immigrants actually contribute positively to the economy and society. They fill labor gaps, start new businesses, and enrich cultural diversity. But what are your thoughts on this? Share your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you for watching and see you in my next video.